Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Whew. I am learning so much this week about the bigotry that is in the veins of the Republican Party, especially within the leadership and everything. And soon, I don't know what order I'm going to be putting these recordings out. I know I have probably now 15 plus different recordings out there, and some of them I'm thinking of redoing is because I know some people are going to take parts personally or they're going to take it out of context because well, even when I was talking about one of the episodes, I talk about how I am single and how I have come to the realization that I will never get married. And I talked about the different types of groups or categories that I've dated: white, black, people of color, and then some people with disabilities, but most of them are non-visible disabilities, like being on the spectrum. And I know, like, I know one time I told a friend, like, what happened with one of the gentlemen, and she was just like, "Oh, so are you telling me that you have something against people on the spectrum?" I'm like, "No, didn't you just hear what I said he did?" "Yeah, but anyone could have done that." "Yeah, okay, but I'm talking about him right now, and he is on the spectrum." But it's like when I said the story, I didn't emphasize that I know, like, I've dated so many jerks that are able bodied. I've met a lot of jerks who have nowhere near disabilities, or they have the disability of ignorance, bigotry, and racism. But I don't know, it's just, I keep second guessing myself because since I wasn't allowed to be on YouTube or podcast or even just starting my own business, period, I am still nervous and scared because I know if I mess this up, then it would be kind of letting my family know, you were right, I'm a failure. So, and why am I saying this? I feel like I'm an open book, especially since I'm never getting married in the first place. I might as well tell somebody on my business. So, because a lot of people all of my life never believed me. And now the truth is out, and I am the one that has to pay the consequences of my truth. Everything I've said has been true. It's like the verbal and physical trauma did happen. Oakland University. Oakland University. Oh, that's some tea I have. I really need to. But I I have a lot of stories to tell and a lot of things to maybe not teach, but at least tell so that some of you guys have more empathy and understanding for women, for Black women, for Black people, for even Black people that went to college. I'm so tired of people telling me I only did this or accomplished this or got to this level because I'm Black or because I'm a woman, while I'm watching them and I'm like, you're not doing the work. So it's like, how are you judging me and you're not even doing the work to get up to the level that I'm on? And it's just really annoying and frustrating. It's like you're listening to a woman who, in order to finish my second master's, I was in one of the most toxic, like, I left one toxic house in order to do homework at another toxic house, but it was a different type of toxic that I could tolerate. It was a new type of toxic where I was like, okay, this is different, but I could tolerate and handle, and I finished. Because in the original toxic house, I was told I would never be anything. I was told I was never going to graduate or finish. I was told I was not going to be just, mm, yeah, I'm not going to get into all of that because I'm like, yeah, let's not have a depressing day. Yeah, let's not have a depressing day. So, speaking of diversity, equity, and inclusion, Republicans, you have bigotry and racism all through your veins because do you know how many lawsuits that are out there presently or just passed over the last 4 or 5 years that came about because of racism? One just came out from like the Department of Agriculture because now they have to pay $2 billion. I'll repeat that because I'm petty. $2 billion because they admitted that they were racist towards African American farmers. And it's disgusting because do you know how many lawsuits there were for African Americans with real estate? And actually, I'm in the works of interviewing a woman who wrote a book about it. And it's funny because I have tons of saved lawsuits and articles about that. And so when I got this email a couple weeks ago asking if I was interested, and so yeah, let's just say reading her book, I'm like, yep, this all makes sense. Yeah, I'm not surprised. And even when my parents were gonna move to like one of the next houses or whatever, their real estate agent, the first real estate agent, because they fired her, because she said that she would not show them any houses past 8 Mile. And this is a white woman too. Yeah, she told my parents she would not show them any houses past 8 Mile. She refused, even when my parents told her how much they were willing to spend and everything like that. And a lot of the houses that she was showing weren't meeting their expectations, but she refused, and so that meant my parents refused her services, and that's when we met an amazing new real estate agent, and she helped them with the ending result. And even I know that I watch a lot of lawyer YouTubers, but there's one who I think he's a civil rights lawyer, but there was one about a family, African American family. They were selling their house and they had an estimator come to give an estimate. It has a different title, but I forgot. But they had they had a lower amount than they expected, and all of their white neighbors, they were saying how much, or I think a couple of them were selling their houses too, and the numbers weren't adding up. And so they're like, okay, because I think they got a tip from someone else what to do. So they planned a second one and by another estimator, and they took down every piece of evidence that would have shown that it was owned by an African American family. Yeah, that number jumped up, I think around 30% or more. It might have been more, but I think it was around 30%. Yeah, the first person marked it down because they were black. And it happens a lot. And I'm going to have to go through all of my links because I have found a lot of African American families either having lawsuits or settling or even doing an experiment to prove the point of racism within the real estate organization. But back to the farmers, because it all comes together. Because with the $2 billion, the JD Vance is now saying that these people should not be getting money based off the color of their skin. That, like, so he's gaslighting. He is literally gaslighting because the reason why so many, I think it was around almost 70% of African American farms like went through bankruptcy and had to close or sell their land was because they weren't offered the same type of loans as the white farmers. And so they won the 2 billion because of the unfairness and the prejudice, the racism, the bigotry. So now JD Vance wants to turn around and say, "Oh, so why are we giving these people money based off the color of their skin when all these years they were refused money because of the color of their skin?" And this is the second, I repeat, this is the second lawsuit that they've won because years ago they got caught. I think it was during the Clinton presidency that, or Clinton, President Clinton, he had to pass some stuff to try to allocate and make sure they had some money. But then they continued going against their word or going against like abiding by like equality. Yeah. And so now, just now, they won another $2 billion. But then JD Vance wants to lie and turn it around and act like, oh, we've been fair all this time. Oh, they've always had a chance to get the same amount of money as the white farmers. And he knows he's lying. And he's saying this because he knows Republicans are going to believe him. And there's so many situations where African American families, African Americans, period, are not on a fair playing ground. And sometimes the government gets caught and then they have to pay the money, but then they turn around and be like, oh no, well, now we have to do this based off of color. No, no, you're fixing it because you used to base it off of color. You're fixing it because you based it off of color. So don't spin it. Don't spin it. Because even business loans, do you know how many companies, or especially like the percentage wise, the probability statistically, the chances of a white business getting a business loan compared to a black family or black person applying for a business loan with the same credential, same credit score and everything? And I don't know what happened to it, but I know someone was trying to file the argument where can we take off nationality off of the application? Because when some banks see that, sometimes they're like, oh, they're black? No, we're not going to give them a business loan. No. And if they're white, okay, let's give them a business loan. Yeah, let's go on and do that. Some people may not believe me. I'll provide links, or I always say this, but sometimes I'm just like, well, some people don't know how to Google credible websites, so okay. This time I'm probably gonna have to do it, or at least put the links on the screen and everything so you can click and read and everything. And also in my community, I have today just about an hour. Actually, I think I posted both of them, the one about what JD Vance said and the original video about the lawsuit. And so you guys can watch that. So yeah, I already had your backs. Okay, we're good. But I'm gonna try to post more about the real estate and business loans, because I don't know, it's just crazy how, since I am literally trying to get my business together and I'm just trying to get my life together, it's appalling with how many Republicans are, because yeah, they're Republicans. I know. They try to tell me that the only reason I've accomplished the things that I've accomplished, or I've gotten the things that I've gotten, is because I'm black. It's never because I work hard. It's never because I work hard. But then it's kind of funny when you see some of the rich white men or women or just white people get into Harvard or some of the most prestigious schools because one of their parents went to Harvard, and it's like they only get to go because their parents got in. No one ever talks like, so basically you can't say that's privilege. You're going to say I have privilege, or I'm only getting things because I'm black or because I'm a woman. And now that I'm diagnosed with my disability, some people are probably going to say my disability. When I worked hard, I have worked extremely hard. And and I think I brought up Mr. Lakaki and his toxic environment because even with his family and Mr. No Heart, his mother is the one that told me the only reason I got into college is because I'm black. And I just still wonder, because I wanted to ask her the question, but I knew I couldn't ask the question since, yeah, Lake City feels like a sundown town. And so I knew I had to be careful with what I said. And I didn't like her I didn't care for her. Because, yeah, once you say that racist remark to me, and the fact that my ex tried to hide where my family lives, or I think he was so insulted because my family did better than his family. And I'm not saying that to brag or gloat or whatever, because it's like I watched my parents work and save every penny, double coupons and clearances and shopping behind seasons, and it's just so many things. And it's just insulting because his family thought so little of me and my family just because we're black. And I've told kind of an extended version, but even the time when she was laughing and bragging about how each one of her children got into jail, but then she looked at me and she wanted me to share. And I'm looking at her like, none of us ever got into jail. I don't know what you want. And I just remember she was just like, none of your family or none of your siblings. Yeah, she said siblings. I'm just like, did you just share this because you wanted to hear about how some black people got to jail? Because you can watch the news. You've got YouTube. They have like crime YouTubers who talk about idiots who've gone and well, it was like I say idiots because oh the world's dumbest criminals, like Comedy Central, that was my show back in the day. But anyway, yeah, I'm a millennial. But anyway, it's just really annoying and frustrating because don't put us like don't restrict us, and at the same time don't perceive or don't act like we can only accomplish something out of pity. We can only get the leftovers, and that we're not smart enough, or we don't work diligently, and not to expect much from us. Because even when I got the professor job, it's like, oh, you only got it because you're black. Okay. Can you tell me? Can you tell me of one thing that I have done in my life that is not because I'm black? You tell me, what have I done that or accomplished that is just because that's just because maybe I worked hard or I enjoyed it or whatever. You tell me, because everything my ex, or sometimes I told, but usually my ex would call her and then she would always ask tons of questions about me. And it was really funny because near the end of the relationship, she would text me, or not text me, but on Facebook message me that she was asking about me, but he refused to tell her. And this is when I started working more classes, and when I was writing my novel, which I will get out pretty soon. And yes, I have my greeting cards. So yeah, let's just say I've been busy. But anyway, I was starting to write my children's books and my novel, and I was trying to figure out how I can get the business together. He refused to read it. He told me, I'll only read your book if you actually publish it. And I mean, maybe not that exact attitude, but yeah, he had attitude in his voice, or he had the type of voice where he was like, I know you're never going to actually accomplish it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you forgot you're dating Queen Petty. Queen Petty. Oh, when I publish it, I hope he never reads it. But if he does read it, oh my gosh, it's going to be Petty Delicious Kiss. Because he is going to absolutely hate my villain's name, or at least one of my villain's names. And oh, he's gonna be in another one. Yeah, I already have a lot of the people who have done me wrong. Yeah, even some of my past students, or yeah, the students who called me Professor Cripple. Yeah. hmm Congratulations, you made it as a villain in my book. Yeah. Or you made it as a victim. So, but I'm gonna mix names with personalities, with nationalities, and all of that stuff. So, but yeah, when as someone who is female and a person of color slash black slash a disability, everyone keeps telling me that I only accomplished something because of one of the items that I was born with, but they don't know about the hours I would be in my car studying and trying, working on my master's, or the hours that it took for me to write the novel, or all of that. Even now with marketing and advertising, I listen to videos, and every semester that I taught a class, I made it different. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, because some of you guys are lazy, straight up lazy. And or well, I know I'm gonna have a whole series. I talked a little bit about it in some of the mixture of episodes that I already recorded, but when it comes to these farmers, they're not just getting this money because they are black. They're getting this money because they have been trying to start the business, like their farming business, like any other farming business, and they've had to do without because of the color of their skin. It's like the whites have been able to take advantage of things that they couldn't even like touch or reach or sample or anything. How unfair is that? And the fact that now JD Vance is twisting it around and just gaslighting, like, and the sad part is Republicans are going to believe him. Republicans are going to be like, oh, see, that DEI mess. See, yeah, it's like there is reverse racism. And they're going to sound dumb as normal. And it's ridiculous. And it's pathetic and sad because they have no idea about all of the things that goes on within the different types of demographics that they don't fit in. And most of them love it. Most of them don't want to know anything about different cultures or races, and like even the able-bodied community, or like just with ableism and everything. Oh my gosh, so many people are just so ignorant when it comes to people with disabilities. And or they stare like nobody's bit, like stop staring. Stop staring. But one day, like, I've always dreamt of either having my own type of wine, or just like, or even like being able to grow a lot of crops, and like with my leftovers, like taking it to food banks and being like, you know what, yeah, let's feed the hungry. Let's do this thing. Let's make sure there's no child that has an empty stomach, because I think that's what we are made to do, to give and to show love and care and empathy. But when it comes to running a farming business, trying to buy a house slash real estate, and so like education and so many other things, or even getting a business loan, we are left out. And once we are able to get it, then we are accused of only getting it because we are black, when we've been screaming from the rooftop. And I will be doing episodes about the environmental racism, because do you know how many toxic plants there are around the US that are right where African Americans live? Like, yeah, the rate of African Americans living in these areas, and I think it's around 40 to 50% chance of someone getting cancer because of how toxic these areas are. And there's so many, like with the real estate, I'm going to be working on that, and also resumes and how HR, like, excuse me, it's like if you are applying for a job, if you have an African American sounding name, how quickly they discard it. And I know this for a fact because I had to shorten my name in order to get a job interview, or job interviews. But it was really funny. I applied to the same exact jobs, the same exact ones. The only ones that got called back was with the whiter version of my name. But I'll rest this episode here. I am the handicapable black woman. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. but most importantly, I am human, and you will be amazing once you hit that subscribe button. Comment, tell me about just how life is going, the different goals you're trying to achieve. Bye.